Hi, today we're going to talk a little bit about creating a window in Java, a little bit of Windows programming. We're going to talk a little bit about the difference between Swing and Javafx. Actually going to create our own Java window and then show you some graphics commands. All right, so Swing has been around a long time in Java. It started with something called java.awt, and these were all these components, but they only worked on Windows. So they developed Swing so it would work on pretty much any application type of platform. It would work on a Mac, it would work on a PC. The problem is it doesn't necessarily work well on small devices, and so that's when JavaFX came out. It's more the latest and greatest of the Java interfaces. So Swing can only do applications. JavaFX can actually support a lot of small devices. Swing has a lot of pre-built components, and it makes it easier to learn to code on. Whereas JavaFX might have a larger learning curve. So even though I would recommend learning JavaFX, to keep it simple in this class, I'm going to demonstrate Java Swing. And those of you that would like to do all of these assignments in JavaFX, you are welcome to, and I will accept them. But I will allow you to research that on your own. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to take you through your first Java Windows program. So here I have JGrasp open, and let's make this font a little bigger so you can see. So I'm going to do a class, maybe call it, I don't know, my window. So up to this point it looks pretty much the same. We're still going to have a public static void main. And there's our new method. But instead of our code being here in main, we're going to import some Swing code. So up at the top of we're going to say import JavaX this time .swing .star semicolon. There's several components that we're going to add. So rather than importing them one at a time, which you're welcome to do, it's probably more efficient. We'll show you both ways. We want to import a JFrame, and we also want to import a JPanel. And a JFrame is the window. So if I were to pull up any window, it's basically the screen that makes the window, and the panel is just a place in the middle for putting other items. So in order to do this, we've got to have both of those items. You can do it with just a JFrame, but eventually we want to use JPanel to lay out all your components or your graphics on the screen. So we're going to have you add this JPanel in as well. Okay, so what we're going to create is we're going to create a custom JPanel. So up here after my window, we're going to say extends JPanel. So that way we can create our whole window is going to be this custom layout that we're creating. Although for today it's not going to look like much. It's just going to look like a blank window. But you know, it'll get better. All right. So now in our main class, we're going to instantiate. We want to create an instance of this JPanel. So we're going to say new, and whatever you name the window here, we're just going to instantiate it. We're going to say new my window. And what that will do is it will call the constructor. That way main is not necessarily our main place that we're going to be adding code. Main is just going to start our program. Alright, so now here, that means we have to have a constructor. Fortunately, we already know what constructors are. Constructors are the things where you establish all of the defaults in your program. Well, we want to establish all of the default components in our window. So we're going to put a constructor for the window that we're actually in. So that has to be public. If you remember, I'm going to see if you can do it. Try and put in a constructor for the My Window class. I'm going to type it in. Of course, I'm going to show you. So there it is. This is a constructor for our My Window class. Now we need to create the actual window. Our J panel is just the place in the middle where we can organize our components. It needs to be contained within an actual, what it's called is a J frame. J frame is the window that has the little X and the minus, and so this part is on the J frame. If we were to look at this inner part right here would be the J panel, although it's not, ours isn't going to look like that. Alright, so we're going to say private J frame. We're just going to call it window so we know what it is, equals new J frame. Okay, now in the text you can put a title for your window right here. My first window. This is just the text that will show up in the title bar up at the top of the screen. Okay, at this point nothing is going to show because our constructor is empty. Our defaults are not there. Alright, so I'm going to add a few items. We want to establish a few rules about the J-frame, and one of those is we want it to actually exit the program when we click on this X of our J-frame, not of this. I was just demonstrating for purposes. But so there's this thing called set default close operation. And what that does is it says, well, when this window closes, do you want it to open another window? Do you want what to happen? On our particular section, we just want the program to exit. So we'll say JFrame dot exit on close. That is not the default, so we do have to code this in. Okay, so what this is, let's put comments in here so we know what these lines of code do. Ends the program, program, when the window is closed. There we go. That's what that does. We still haven't made our window actually show up yet because we have to add to the window our layout, our custom J panel. So I'm going to say window dot add this. This refers to the current window, the one I'm instantiating here. So I'm adding to my window this custom J panel that we're creating. So let's see. I'll put a comment, add custom layout to the window. Now obviously our custom layout is going to be nothing on it because we're just creating an empty window for now and going through the codes, but that's okay. It'll get more complex as we add components to our layout. Alright, next thing I want to do is set the size of the window. I'm not going to comment this one because it's pretty intuitive. Set size. And you can set it to whatever coordinates, whatever values you want. 800 right here is in pixels and it's the width. 600 is the height. Okay, our window still is not showing up. The reason why is for this last command. We need a window.setVisible. How do you spell visible? V-I-S-I-B-L-E. True. Now our window should show up. So if I compile this, I do have to save the file called mywindow.java. And I'm going to now run this, and it should create a plain window. And it's going to have a title. There's our title, my first window. It's going to have a default size of 800 by 600. I can still stretch this and make it bigger, just so you know, but that's the starting size, and the window did show up. Now the key thing is when I close this button, it should also exit the program. So I can close this program here and I can see operation complete. My program did end. Okay, stay tuned. In the next video we're going to show you how to add a few simple graphics to this particular program.